Testing 1, 2, getting ready to rock and roll, everybody.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fort Myers Beach. Peach Time Out. We're in the indoor studio today. We're broadcasting live from Peach all morning long. Want to say hello to everybody out there watching on the Facebook and listening live on all the assorted podcast apps. Assorted? Oops. Sorry, dear. Got to turn the microphone on. There you go.
Assorted or sorted?
Assorted podcast apps or whatever's out there. We have a killer show as we get ready to close down the year and start a political season here on Fort Myers Beach. And the last half hour was interesting. If you didn't get a chance to listen to the interview I did at 8:30, well, the video's up there now on the Facebook. I got to interview I like to interview a new podcaster before the show at 8:30. And I could have gone on for 2 hours with Anthony Raimondi, who was an enforcer with the Colombo crime family back in the 70s in New York City. And he's written a book called When the Bullet Hits the Bone that I read in 2 days this week. And 10 podcasts are out. 10, what do you call them? 10 episodes of the podcast called The Enforcer are also out. And you should listen to that. So that's what you did
with your time all week? You were just reading?
I was reading and listening. And once you find something.
You were cranky this week. That must have been why.
I was cranky.
Yes.
You were tad cranky when you came back from visiting from Jillian, but I let that one roll right off my back.
Well, I was tired.
Yeah, okay, whatever. You were mad at me because you say I don't answer my phone. Then this morning,
that's right.
This morning, I do my 50 miles on my bike, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for you, and I called you 6 times, and you didn't answer the phone at all.
That's because I was driving, and some lady went through the red light at the hospital.
Okay, whatever.
And
spare us the details. We're getting into Forrest's time here.
Okay.
His paid time. No, he's not paying for time. I'm just kidding. This advertisement was not approved by Forrest Critser, but you could have at least texted me before you left the house saying, I'm leaving, I'm on my way or something.
What am I, 12?
Well, so I'm calling you thinking you're still asleep because that's never happened before.
When
never.
have I ever not shown up here?
Ladies and gentlemen, live from down the street on Estero Boulevard. Is that where you live, sir? On Estero Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Otsego Drive.
Otsego Drive,
no,
or Otsego.
Otsego. I know.
See, I'm going to say Otsego, and I'm going to say Critser.
We're from Otsego County in New York, so we have to flip those letters.
Now, Forrest, you're running for council. Again, I ask everybody the same question. I don't know why. That's not really a question. But first question for you is, how did you come up with the name Butch?
Well, that came up because I was pig-headed in Kentucky. I did the absolute opposite what my parents requested me to do, and that's the best thing they could come up with, I guess, at the time, and that was Butch. And it just kind of stuck with me because Forrest is my given name with 2 R's, and Butch is a lot easier.
Now, Forrest, was it before the movie or after the movie? It was before the movie. So they stole the name from you, not the other way around.
That is correct. There's 5 generations of Forrest in Henderson County.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was looking you up, doing my research, and there's a lot of Critsers up there.
That is correct.
And what part of Kentucky is it?
It's western Kentucky. We're right on the Ohio River across from Evansville, Indiana, 2 hours from Louisville. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's Louisville, not Louisville.
Now, you've been down here in Fort Myers for how long?
15 years.
Okay, because you still got the accent from up south there.
Yeah, I can't lose that. That's that was my home. Not anymore.
Now, the first question about the election: why are you deciding to run for a town council?
Well, I got interested in town council, or got interested in town government about 7 years ago. Been here 15, but we was busy building a church at the time and building a community of believers at Beach Baptist Church, and we're just very active. And then as things smoothed out, I was asked to go to a leadership conference put on by the Community Resource Action Board, which is known as CRAB.
Right.
and went to that and saw I was just enlightened about town business and how things are operating. And the council went through a trying time in those years, and I watched that and I says, these are people, there's something wrong here. We all live on this island, and we're all islanders. We have to agree to disagree. And when the decision is made, then we have to unite together. I was a bivocational minister when I was in Kentucky, and I worked for the Green Valley Baptist Association. And I was sent out whenever there was a church that had a conflict. And the church might split because of the color of the carpet or the shape of the pews or no chairs or whatever it was. It was usually not very much it takes for it to have a disagreement. Mm-hmm. And sometimes pastors would take their congregation that was for them and take off and leave the one sitting still. And so I would go in and nurse those two congregations. And, we've always said that, when we divide, we conquer. And so we always tried to take a church that was like that and then bring them back up to full status again. And I would go on to the next one. So kind of got the tag of being a peacemaker.
So, Forrest, if people of God can't get along, how do you really expect people that are in politics to ever get along?
Well, we find that people of God can get along, maybe not in the same room. We have a saying as pastors go when we go into the meetings, there is a verse that says, where there are 2 or 3 gathered together in thy name, I will be in your midst. Well, when pastors get together jokingly, they say where there's two pastors together with a pastor and an assistant, and you throw in a deacon or you throw in a trustee or you throw in, most of all, the chairman of the finance committee, there's confusion.
Gotcha.
So you had to work through those things in a loving manner. And so I got into politics because I saw a need of leadership, for one, of course, and a need to bring people back together to understand why we're really here. A small community of approximately 7,000 with 6,000, and I'm, round numbers, of voters are on this island. It's 7.5 miles long with 7 churches. That's kind of amazing in and of itself. But the thing is, we have to get along with each other. And controversy is good for the papers. Controversy is good for talk because it makes people think. But when the decisions are made, then decisions have to be taken at what it is and get on about business. I love this beach. I came across that bridge in 2003. I was still at work. My wife was here visiting my son, and I was coming down the next day on Friday the 14th, and I got a call from Delta, and Delta says, Mr. Critser, if you want to go to Fort Myers, you got to leave on Thursday because Friday the airport's going to be closed because they got a hurricane coming in. Mm-hmm. That hurricane name was Charlie.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
And so
yeah.
I says, well, I've got to get down there because, I've been married at the time. It was only about 35 years. Now I've been married going on 52 years. So you see, I obey well. So not only did Delta, my wife said, get on down. So I climb on the plane and come down. We come over that bridge. I said, pinch me. I love to fish. I fished for years at Kentucky Lake and Barkley Lake and never been in the ocean. I've seen the ocean, but never been in it. And it was just amazing. And I was here on the island a total of 2 hours because my son was having a meeting with his mother and father-in-law and my wife. And they said, we got to leave the island. I don't know why. They just got a storm coming in. I'd love to watch it, my son said. And I says, I'm here. Let's do it. And the girls said, no, we're leaving. So we ended up at Alico Arena. I'm sorry.
Wow.
And so I emceed the tornadoes that come through to my hometown in Kentucky, WSON radio station.
Oh, wow. Look at you. That's why you're so good at this, because you're filibustering just a little bit. I'm trying to get in more questions here.
You asked me.
Your first answer can't take 30 minutes, Forrest. So now, come on now.
Let's go.
Short bullet points.
Short points.
To be fair, he did say to me, that he was going to let you direct it. And I said, well,
he's not really letting me direct
it.
now. He's taking over the show.
I said to him,
I know who a fill-in's going to be.
Fill in.
No. So,
know.
Forrest, let me ask
Go
a
ahead.
question. All right, now. So you ran once before.
Yes, sir.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
How was that campaign? I mean, that was right in the middle of the Margaritaville debate, too, right? That was
that is correct. It was a rough time for the council, and they were going through some trying times, and so I saw it as the opportunity to maybe help and heal, because that's my goal. I mean,
I do a lot of that too.
yeah. When I was in the service, I was in Vietnam.
You were.
I went through five of us went through from basic to AIT on to Vietnam.
Did you ever hear of Anthony Raimondi?
I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
It's a long story.
And anyway, while I was in AIT, they knew I was a Christian, and I worked with the chaplains, and they tagged me as preach, and they thought, well, this is going to be something that we can get him, because he ain't gonna be called a nickname. So I said, that's all right. I said, I'll take that tag. Well, when we got to Nam, my nickname Preach went through the whole rifle committee and company. And they came to me and talked, and we talked to be able to get through a lot of things together in difficult times. So that's why I ran for council. I thought, well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a philanthropist that has a big business. I retired from Sears and Roebuck after 18 years in management. I ran my own business.
So what happened in that election? What happened in that election?
What happened in that election? I carried the 2 precincts downtown.
Okay.
And I lost the precinct on the south end to Joanne Champ.
Okay.
The person that knows the comp plan back and forth
Yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
Mhm,
She's a great member of this beach.
Right.
She'd been here a lot longer than I had, and she lived on the south end along with one of my best friends and church members, Bruce Butcher.
Okay.
So what are you going to do this time to
Right. You got 6 people running now for 3 seats.
Well, how are you going to
Well, how am I going to make the difference?
Now listen, when
I'm
you go
gonna-
door to door, you can't be spending 30, 40 minutes talking to people you got to keep it short.
I don't talk to those people. I listen.
Okay.
I go to a door
Ooh,
and knock and
good.
listen to what they have to say and what their issues are on the beach, and try to tell them what I would like to see happen. And I would like to see, and that's what you want, so I'll give it to you, is
Right.
I am a person come from a business background.
Well, you can't give everybody everything, though.
You're exactly right. But you can give them a way of life that all people will be able to adjust to. Things change.
Yeah. So
constantly.
let's do some bullet points here now.
Okay.
You're in favor of Margaritaville.
I'm sorry.
Are you in favor of Margaritaville?
I don't like that term, being
Okay.
in favor or against anything. I am again a peacemaker. I look at Margaritaville as something that would be beneficial to the island.
So you would have voted yes.
Because it is. I am pro-business.
Would you have voted yes when it came up?
I believe I would have voted yes.
I'm not feeling solid on that.
No, because I wasn't there.
to hear all the
I wasn't
stuff?
there. I had to take everything at weight. In government, you have to listen to all the people and what they have to say. And there is pros and cons and everywhere you get. But you see, we have a council that has approved a business on this island,
Right.
an investment to the well-being to keep us going. So we need to listen to our people. There's a lot of people on that council and in our town that we have hired, and we pay them a lot of money to do that job. So we need to let them do their job and listen to them.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to your finger? Can I
The
ask?
short version, a
All right.
dog ate it.
Seriously?
Oh, wow.
When I
Dog
was
bit it off?
When I was 3 years old.
Wow.
No, he didn't bite it off. I had a playhouse made out of a jukebox, and a kid and I were playing together, and his dad owned the radio shop. I put my finger in the hand so he wouldn't break the glass. He broke it anyway. He
Oh.
threw it down, so we take the end, fed it to the dog. My mother runs out the house, runs to the emergency room, which was 4 blocks away, and my godfather wrapped it up and took me to the doctor. I'll never forget the story because the doctor says, well, where's the end? We might be able to put it back on. And I said, the dog ate it. And that was the story.
You just made that up, didn't you?
No, sir.
Okay.
The last
How
story.
could you make
I
that
know.
up?
Look at
that's
some
crazy.
of my sermons. You'll see it.
You sure you don't know Anthony Raimondi? Man. So the other What? The other thing that I want to ask you about was, are you in favor, or would you have been in favor? I'm trying to word it the right way so you don't say in favor or not in favor of raising taxes.
Well,
When I ran, in 2000 and what was it, 16, that question was asked to us in one of the forums. And there was some that says they were against it and for it, and one of the town council members that's on town council today said, of course, and that person was very knowledgeable of the beach. And they came to me, and I made a statement, and it was my first time in politics in that manner. And the question, would you raise taxes? And I says, ma'am, or sir, I'm sorry, it was a man that was moderating. I said, sir, he says, I'm from Kentucky, and I'll never forget it because I got a tongue lashing afterwards. I says, if you was in Kentucky and you raise taxes, the first thing they do is grab a hold of you, tar and feather you, run you out on the rail and hang you in the nearest street. Well, afterwards, this council member come to me and says, Butch, I tell you, I'm for you and I'm going to vote for you. But that was not a very good answer for a Christian.
I see.
And she says, I know you are, and you didn't mean it, but there's people listening that don't know who you are. Right. So watch what you say on the radio and watch what you say in public. Well, of course, I'm not for higher taxes. And that's one of the reasons that Margaritaville can help us out on this island.
That's right.
Government, I've never seen a government take off taxes. I'm from an age where there was no sales tax. And they said, we're going to make sales tax 3%. And as soon as we get this built up, we're going to take that off. So come on, Kentucky, get along the board. So we did. Then it went to 4%. Then it went to 5%. Then it went to 6%. It hasn't ever come up.
Right.
Believe me, government's not going to take a tax on once they get it on.
I think you're going to have a problem when you run for election. You're too logical, and that doesn't work with politics.
I am my own person. I am running this race not for me, but for the average citizen here in Fort Myers Beach. And I want to appeal to them and to their conscience and let them understand you can't always go on your emotions. Mm-hmm. You have to talk it out. That's what people do.
So do you think, I'm not letting you ask any questions. You're just sitting here looking beautiful, by the way. You're all, even after running 18 miles like you did this morning. Yeah, I mean, look at the two ugly dudes on Facebook.
Well, let me ask one.
Go right ahead.
So you've talked about some of the issues that are of interest to you and in your background. We've had a lot of people come on and talk about the water issue too. How do you feel about dealing with the environmental things that kind of combat the beach every once in a while?
Water is a complex issue. We know that. Mm-hmm. We have the big wigs are working on that in government, and we have to voice our support. Water is the most important asset we got at Fort Myers Beach, except the sand.
Yeah,
of course, because they love our white sands. But we have definitely got to get on board with water. I was three weeks ago. I was I had a client. I have two pieces of property that I take care of now, besides working at the church, and not my property. I manage. And they checked in they were from Sweden, barely spoke English, but enough that I could speak to them and introduce to Times Square and the restaurants to go to and that kind of thing. And left, and they were fine. They couldn't wait to get into the ocean.
Oh boy!
Well, about 4 weeks ago is when we had that red tide scare again.
Right.
Well, it was blitzed on the radio, on the television. They heard it that night, so they got their Google. They Googled and they saw what red tide is and this and that. And we didn't have that big problem on our beach. Our water was safe.
Yeah.
But because of what they heard all the way down the beaches, they says, we're going to the East Coast. I'm sorry, we want to check out. We'll pay you for the time we stayed here, or you can take our whole rent. Well, I didn't do that. I said, folks, we want you to come back to Fort Myers Beach. We're a hometown friendly place to visit, and I'm going to refund your money.
Wow.
Because I don't have you because we want your money. We want you here to show off our showcase. We're going to have a place that is going to be unbelievable when people come. It's not going to be a Fort Lauderdale. It's not going to be a Daytona Beach. We're going to have our white sand. We're going to have our water that the people can play in, but we have got to do all that we can for clean water. Support it as much as possible.
Okay, back to the bullet point questions. Do you think this current council is doing a good job?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have to.
Don't say you're sorry. If they are, they are.
I know they are. It's not a controversial issue. So yeah, but
do you think the town manager is doing a good job?
I think that we have some issues, not with the town manager, but with the town in general in the way that is going. That's one of the reasons I'm running for council, is that I feel like we need to have our hometown feel again, like I felt when I came over that bridge in 2003.
Okay.
You know, I want that feeling that oh, I can talk to you, I can ask you something. It's not cut and dry. We need to have, I'm glad to see that out on the beach. Now, we had people riding around with enforcement on the back of their shirts, running around, and we've got guests from Sweden, France, Italy. You know, they're coming from countries where they are oppressed, they're forced to do certain things, and we have a free nation under God. We should have that freedom.
Are they oppressed in Sweden?
I don't know about Sweden,
yeah.
But I know here we feel like I feel like I'm walking on pins and needles. I watch my speedometer not at 28 or 30 in the morning anymore. I watch it at 26 or 27. You better dodge the trolley shots in town, because if you don't.
So back to the shirts. The shirts didn't used to say enforcement. They used to say something else. That's what you're getting at.
Right, and they're going back to it.
They are. If you're elected, you mean?
No, even now.
Oh.
See, this council.
Why does it take so long to buy a new T-shirt?
They're waking up. They're waking up. They're waking up.
Are you
okay?
waking them up?
I'm trying.
So
but not only me, there's a lot of people in town that feels like they're being
targeted. Say it.
Oh no, not. They're not targeting any one certain person. It is a community. Okay, so I'm standing cleaning up some brush. At a piece of property.
How dare you?
A truck comes by.
Yeah.
And stops.
Yeah.
Beach patrol.
You didn't have a permit to clean up that brush.
No, he stopped. He was watching me. So, you know, when somebody's watching me, I'm a talker person. I'll talk to him. I want to know.
No kidding.
Not
Really? Wow.
So I said, can I help you? He said, you the owner of this property? And I says, no, sir. He says, well, I've been told I need to watch this driveway, because if there's a lot of cars here, I'm going to write, you're going to get a violation. And I said, why? He says, because you can't rent this property. And I said, well, sir, you're talking to the wrong person, because I'm not the first person. I'm the second person. You want something, you need to talk to the man in charge. That's the owner. Well, we had already paid, $175. And we know what our rentals in that particular community is.
Right.
But he was trying to fill his oats a little bit. He should have been more hospitable.
Right.
I'm with code enforcement, and I'm just driving around doing my job. And how are you doing today? No,
Right.
He wanted to beat me over the head right off the bat.
That's baloney.
He wanted to pick up
You
one
need
of
to
those
change
sticks
that.
you were trimming
That's
and
right.
hit you
You
with
need
it.
to have more like
friendly
the
staff.
Disney attitude.
Well, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
I like that.
so let's get back to the town manager. Not that I have a thing for the town manager or anything like that. I'm just asking a question. He gets paid $180,000 a year. Do you think that's a little too high?
I'm not on the finance committee, and I'm not on the pay scale for other.
Yes, if we were shooting the breeze.
Yeah, but I'll say this.
Yes.
About Roger. Okay, he is a employee.
Yes.
He is a employee of the town council.
Right.
The town council put him there.
Yeah.
So you can't lay all the blame.
No, take it if you can
Roger.
get it.
Sir?
He's in Belize right now. Take it if you can get it. If they're willing to pay you that money, right?
That's right.
Tracy rammed it through on the last
somebody
council.
wanted to pay me to come down here, I'd come down, but I'd come anyway.
Right. So we're running out of time already.
Running out of time. We just got started.
I know we have to have equal time according to the FCC. So the other issue that I wanted to ask about was, I completely forgot, but what are your top 3 issues?
My top 3 issues.
Do you need your paper there? I don't want to.
No, I shouldn't need it as much as I read it, as much as I stayed up last night worrying about coming and talking to
Oh,
you.
look at that.
Aw.
That's crazy. If we knew we were going to make you nervous, we wouldn't have had you on.
I spent more time getting ready to talk to you than I do on the Easter or Christmas service, which are the two most important services of the year in church.
Now I'm going to hell. I know I'm going to hell. I cannot believe that.
Okay. Government light. That's what our town was
Praise the Lord.
was what it was based upon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Anita and that bunch put it together in the very beginning, government light. Every year, government seems to get bigger and bigger. And as it grows, expenses grow.
Right.
We don't need all that here. We need to have a community that loves the people. Jokingly, when we came here at Fort Myers Beach, there was 12 people in this church that I met at Beach Baptist Church, okay? Beach highly caffeinated because we have a mission in Guatemala. Get me on the radio another time.
I know.
I'll talk
I know.
about
Yeah.
Well, I talked to your son about it.
I
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah. It
talked
was
to you
great.
too.
It was great.
But anyway, so you made me lose my start
Well,
talking
so
about
all
Guatemala.
right. So that's your first. That's your
Right.
first one. What's your other two?
Okay, government. All right,
Government
Government
light.
light.
It is bringing the people together.
Okay.
I want to bring the beach back together. People have gotten a bad rap for or against. If you want to use Margaritaville, use
Right.
it. You know, for or against that. And the
So
town-
reduce the divisiveness.
Re-
Right.
Reduce-
Big bonfire
You know-
somewhere. We're all going to drink some
Kumbaya.
drink some
It's
schnapps.
been voted on.
Yep.
It's approved. It's going to come. I'll tell you one thing I have a problem with, and that is with people after it's been approved, they still want to fight it.
Right.
You know, if they want to fight it, that's their constitutional right to fight and whatever.
Like
they
Uncle
think.
Bob down the street. Like, what would you,
Well,
if you were,
what
you're
I-
a peacemaker, you have to talk into the
sorry.
microphone there. If you were a peacemaker and you decided after the show you're going to walk down to the Lonnie Kai and knock on Uncle Bob's door and talk to him about this, what would you say to him?
What would I say to him?
Yeah.
I've talked to him
Yeah.
at the barber shop, which is the best place to meet, by the way.
That's right.
And we had a
What time do you,
conversation.
what time do you two go
He's
get your
gonna
hair cut?
answer the question.
I just want to maybe pop in one time.
There you go. I don't know when he does it, but I've met him there. And an interesting individual, to say the least. Doesn't say too much in public. He lets the other people do the talking for him. But I catered to Lonnie Kai. We took four people up to Thanksgiving buffet they had up there. And
So you would say to him about Margaritaville what?
I would say, it's here, buddy. You don't know how great that's going to be for the Lonnie Kai. Your rent is you're going to be able to increase your rent because competition brings more people, there's more residents that need to have. And, you know, if you want to fight it, fight it. But here's what I feel about that fight, okay? And I wasn't even supposed to say that, but I'm going to because it's my heart talking. That's why I'm running, because it's me, not somebody else. It's me running, okay? That's the main thing I want everybody to know. It's Forrest, Butch, Critser, and Butch is on there because that's what they know me by. I want them to know what I feel is that if a citizen of Fort Myers Beach wants to fight Margaritaville and come up after the town has already approved it, that's fine, but they should have to burden the cost of what it cost our town to fight this issue because
After it's been.
it's their fault.
You know, that's an interesting question because for weeks now, there have been people who have asked the council what the cost has been to fight this lawsuit because really it's the town fighting it. It's not Margaritaville fighting it. I know they're involved in some way, and it is the town that has to, they have a town attorney who's already getting paid, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But they've never really come out and said, at least I haven't seen it in a meeting, how much it's costing the town. It is costing the town in lost, businesses, all the other stuff that you really can't calculate accurately that could have been built or would have been at least started as far as construction goes. So anything else you want to add? Because
I know.
we'll have you back on again for sure.
You did it. Well,
What?
all that studying I did for nothing. Okay.
We'll have you
we'll
on
have you
again.
back on
I
again.
hope
We got
so.
it. Yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't know. I don't think you've had a candidate yet. I'm the first one, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've had Dan Allers
Oh, that's
and
right,
we've
right,
had Jim
Dan.
Adderholt both on.
You had Jim. Oh, I
Yeah.
wish I'd have heard
But
Jim.
we had Jim on before he announced.
Yeah,
Right,
that's right.
right.
We haven't had him on after he
Jim's
is
a great
announced.
guy.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
guy.
Well, you all are. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good diverse of the community. From what I see, I don't even know. I've heard a couple of names. I don't even know who those two are.
Well, you know, we know what I like about the town's election, and they're getting ready to change it. Hopefully the people vote it down, is that you have to, there's always, it seems like there's always an election going on. If not every 1 year, every 2 years. And I think that's good. I think it keeps people on their heels. I mean, I know there's
on their toes?
Yeah, on their heels, on their toes, either both. But I think that, you know, they want to have it every 4 years so that there's more time for people to get entrenched in working with the county and working with whatever. But I just think that for people to have to run for election, I think that's a good thing. If you have to be out in front of the people and you want to be elected, you should, the House of Representatives is every 2 years. If a small beach like Fort Myers Beach can't operate every 3 years, it's silly. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and on the voting issue of the two referendums.
Right.
The first referendum, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree going to November.
Sure.
It's expensive.
Makes a lot of sense.
And it costs the town money. So we need to get that in compliance. So it's good. I hate that word compliance. In compliance.
Getting in line with it.
But the second thing is I don't agree with the 4 year term. I agree with the 2 year term. 4 years is a long time to get somebody on the council that's not working out for the town again.
Right.
And you can't get rid of us once we're on there.
That's right.
So I should be for the 4 year term, but I'm for the 2 year term.
Yeah, I hope the people vote that one down. I mean, obviously it makes sense to have an election in November.
Right.
I'm sure there was cost and expenses to move it to March for whatever, but when everybody's going to the polls, go to the polls for whatever. But the 4 year thing, I just think it's.
And if we have to, we'll extend. We can extend the terms of those who are already on the council until that November if they're coming up for review to make it stand out.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, Forrest,
Wow,
we got to let you go,
so
man.
Much.
We'll have you on again. I'll get with you and we'll schedule after the holidays.
But my closing statement is,
yes.
And the one thing I forgot in my first forum is that whenever in the audience or I've got people listening, I need your vote. I forgot to ask for the vote the first time.
Really?
So this time I'm not going to miss that opportunity to ask for your vote. You want someone that is for the people and for all people on this island, for the voter public, in and around. You'll see me. I'm all over. I'm on the Community Action Resource Board. I've been a part of the Bayfront Project. We was one of the ones that our community is the one that brought it up. I was started with the War Memorial. I wanted it at the fountain, and we got it going. And so we need to get our War Memorial going, and I'm pushing for that. So there's a lot of issues that I really like. I'm a veteran, and we need to work on that issue very much.
Thank you, Forrest. Good luck in the race, and we'll have you back on in January.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got December. We still got more stations or weeks, right? Give me another one this month, okay?
I love it. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you
Have a
so
good holiday
much.
if we don't see you.
Thank you, Beach Talk Radio. You are great.
Oh, stop it.
It's
After
good
you
to
get
have
elected, you're never coming back on again.
Oh, yes,
That's the way
I
it
am.
works in this town.
I'm
I know
ready
how
for
it
you
is.
now, P.
All right.
Yes,
All right, everybody. Want to also tell you about